Deep beneath the bustling city of London, far from the familiar sights and sounds of daylight, lies a place that feels like it belongs to another world. The Greenwich Foot Tunnel, a long cylindrical passage beneath the River Thames, has been a pathway for Londoners for over a century. But as day turns to night and the crowds disappear, this tunnel transforms into something else entirely. Its white-tiled walls, curving like the ribs of some colossal beast, seem to amplify every sound, every echo, creating an atmosphere thick with history and something more. Tunnel's story begins in the early 1900s, a marvel of Victorian engineering. Tarian, but its construction came at a heavy price. To dig this deep, workers had to disturb the earth of an old burial ground. Coffins were unearthed, forgotten graves were opened, and the remains of souls long at rest were unceremoniously moved. Even back then, locals whispered that such a disturbance would not go unpunished, that the spirits of the dead, torn from their eternal sleep, would forever haunt the place that displaced them. And it seems they were right. For over 100 years, stories have persisted of strange and unsettling occurrences within these damp, echoing walls. As you descend the massive spiral staircase into the tunnel's entrance, the temperature begins to drop. The air grows heavy, carrying the scent of river water and old stone. The moment you step inside the tunnel itself, a strange sense of isolation washes over you. The long, brightly lit corridor stretches out before you, seemingly endless. You start walking your footsteps, the only sound in the otherwise deafening silence. But then, you start to notice things. A flicker in the lights up ahead. Sudden, inexplicable cold spot that seems to wrap around your ankles like an icy grip. And then, the footsteps. You stop, listening intently. The sound stops with you. You take another step, and you hear it again, a soft, shuffling sound just behind you. It's a subtle echo, almost perfectly in sync with your own stride, but not quite. It sounds lighter, smaller, as if a child is trying to match your pace. You spin around, expecting to see someone, but there's nothing there. Just the long, empty tunnel stretching back the way you came. But the feeling of being watched, of not being alone, is impossible to shake. Paranormal investigators and ghost hunters have been drawn to the Greenwich Foot Tunnel for decades. Armed with cameras, audio recorders, and all manner of sensory equipment, what they've captured is nothing short of chilling. On their recordings, faint whispers can be heard weaving through the ambient noise of a child's voice. Distorted and ethereal, seemingly calling for her mother, over and over again. Electronic voice phenomena, or EVPs, have picked up intelligent responses to questions, as if someone is trying to communicate from the other side. One of the most frequently reported apparitions is that of a young girl. Witnesses describe her as being no older than 7, dressed in old-fashioned clothing that seems to belong to a bygone era. She is often seen standing silently near the tunnel's midpoint, her figure faint and translucent, her feet hovering just inches above the ground. Those who have tried to speak to her claim she responds not with words, but with sharp, deliberate knocks on the tunnel walls. Once for yes, twice for no. It's as if she is desperate to be acknowledged, to tell her story, but is trapped between worlds, unable to speak. Encountering this spectral child is often accompanied by an overwhelming wave of sadness that quickly turns into pure, unadulterated panic. People report a sudden tightening in their chests, a feeling of being crushed, as if the very walls of the tunnel are closing in on them. The urge to run becomes overpowering, a primal instinct to flee back into the light before the darkness consumes them. Many have sprinted the entire length of the tunnel, not daring to look back, convinced that something was chasing them. It's not just visitors who have experienced the tunnel's unsettling phenomena. Maintenance workers have long shared their own terrifying stories. Many refuse to take late-night shifts after witnessing things they can't explain. One of the most common accounts involves handprints. A worker will finish cleaning a section of the tiled wall, only to turn around and see a small, perfect handprint appear on the freshly wiped surface. They watch, frozen in place, as the print slowly slides downward before vanishing completely, as if a ghostly child had pressed their hand against the cold tiles. Others have reported hearing distinct sounds echoing from the far end of the tunnel. Laughter, clear as day, seems to be coming from up ahead. But as they cautiously walk towards the sound, they realize with a jolt of terror that the laughter isn't in front of them anymore. It's right behind them. This disorienting auditory illusion has caused even the most hardened skeptics to question their sanity. It's a favorite trick of whatever resides in the tunnel, a way to play with those who dare to walk its length alone. The tunnel seems to have a personality of its own, an awareness of who enters its domain. The local legend says that the spirits displaced by its construction are still there, waiting and watching. They count the footsteps of every person who passes through. They silently observe, judging who is welcome and who is not. For most, it is just a convenient shortcut beneath the river. But for an unlucky few, it becomes a terrifying ordeal. The experience often begins subtly. The lights might seem too dim behind you, casting the entrance further and further into shadow until it disappears completely. You feel trapped, suspended between 2 points of light, with an unnerving darkness growing at your back. The air gets colder, the feeling of being followed becomes more intense, and the whispers grow louder. It's in these moments that people feel a powerful, instinctual need to turn back, to abandon their journey before they reach the point of no return. The tunnel, it seems, is deciding for you. So if you ever find yourself in London, standing at the entrance to the Greenwich Foot Tunnel, take a moment, listen to the silence. Feel the cold air rising from the depths, and as you begin your long walk beneath the river, pay close attention to the sounds around you. Make sure the only footsteps you hear are your own, because in the depths of the tunnel, you are never truly alone. The spirits of the past are always there, waiting in the shadows, listening, and deciding who gets to pass, and who is forced to turn back into the darkness from which they came. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more chilling tales.